A shop owner placed a sign above his door that said, "Puppies for sale." Sign like this always has a way of attracting young children. And to no surprise, a boy saw the sign and approached the owner. "How much are you going to sell the puppies for?" he asked. The store owner replied, "Anywhere from $30 to $50. The little boy pulled out some change from his pocket. "I have $2.37, he said. "Can I please at least look at them?" The shop owner smiled and whistled. Out of the kennel came Lady, who ran down the aisle of his shop, followed by 5 teeny tiny balls of fur. One puppy was lagging considerably behind. Immediately, the little boy singled out the lagging, limping puppy and said, "What's wrong with that little dog?" The shop owner explained that the veterinarian had examined the little puppy and discovered that it didn't have a hip socket and it would always limp. It would always be lame. The little boy became excited. "That is the puppy that I want to buy." The shop owner said, "No, you don't want to buy that little dog. If you want him, I'll just give him to you." The little boy got quite upset. He looked straight into the store owner's eyes, pointing his finger and saying, "I don't want you to give him to me. That little dog is worth every bit as much as all the other dogs, and I'll pay you full price. In fact, I'll give you $2.37 now and 50 cents a month until I have him paid for in full." The shop owner countered, "You really don't want to buy this little dog. He is never going to be able to run and jump and play with you like the other puppies." To his surprise, the little boy reached down and rolled up his pant leg to reveal a badly twisted, crippled left leg supported by a big metal brace. He looked up at the shop owner, softly replied, "Well, I don't run so well myself, and the little puppy will need somebody who understands." And that is what we all really need more of, isn't it? Compassionate people who understand. Recently, I was boarding what would be a cross-country flight. For some reason, I'm always a little extra impatient when boarding a plane. I don't know whether it's being worried about claiming my spot in the upper bin since I never want to check a bag, or because I have ideas in my head and I want to get to work on them during my favorite jam session environment. Either way, I admit I'm a little bit more anxious to get settled than normal. As I went down the jet bridge, I was slowed by a man being slowly wheeled down in front of me. I looked to see if I could pass on the right or pass on the left, but it was a no-go. When we got to the end of the jet bridge, just before entering the plane, now the man had to be lifted onto a smaller chair that could go down the aisles. Of course, it wasn't there, so we had to wait, probably 45 seconds, but it felt like 4 or 5 minutes for it to arrive. I could feel my frustration rising inside. They hoisted him from one chair to the other, and we finally made it inside. As I was placing my bag in the bin above me and he was being pulled backwards down the aisle, he looked at me and said in a slurred voice, "Sorry." I felt as small as that shop owner. This man, who was paralyzed over most of his body, dependent on other people for his every move, had more understanding about what I was feeling than I did of what he must be feeling. For most of that flight, the only thing that I could work on was this Darren Daily. One, to say sorry back to that man. And two, to pass this valuable lesson on to you, the one that he taught me, so that his lesson might advance to you and to your life. That we don't judge something as lame, less than, or not as worthy, and that we operate with more compassion and more understanding.